Well, hello and welcome to the Terri Cole Show. I'm going to start with asking you a question on today's episode because I created this episode because a bunch of people had written into me saying they were suffering from this. Do you find yourself sitting on the fence when you need to make a decision? Do you find yourself being able to see the right or the wrong answer from every angle? Are you indecisive? Do you waver? Are you always second guessing, even when you do make a decision? Do you then spend like the next God knows how much time second guessing that decision and thinking maybe you should have made the other one? So why do we experience this ailment, and how can you stop that? That is what this little episode is going to be about today. So there's lots of reasons why we have conscious and unconscious fear to make decisions. And I do think that chronic indecision, perpetual indecision, has to do with fear, right? I mean, it's sort of obvious, fear of making the wrong decision. But then we have the underlying stuff, which is there stuff in your basement, your unconscious mind? I call it your basement. Are there experiences in your past? If you made a mistake as a child, were your parents very punitive? Did you get into trouble? Or your caregivers, or we'll just call whoever raised you the impactors in your life. How about that? Because not everyone might not have been raised by either parent, right? Could have been a grandparent, could have been in foster care, could have been raised by a maternal, paternal aunt, anybody. So the impactors, though, no matter who they are, no matter how you are blood or not blood related to them, impact what happens in our lives. And a lot of times those childhood experiences stick around, and before you know it, it's showing up in your life. So again, sometimes being on the fence all the time has to do with the unresolved experiences from childhood. So let's start with what you can do if you are experiencing this. And I'm giving you a cheat sheet. All you need to do to get the questions and the stuff that I give you is go to terricole.com/257, because this is episode 257, if you can believe it, and you'll be able to just download that directly. So there's a few things. We need to look at some childhood experiences, and because, listen, I keep it brief, but I'll give you a few poignant, powerful questions that you can ask yourself to illuminate why. Because I've had so many clients in my therapy practice over the decades, basically successful, mainly women, who labored over making decisions. Even when they were in positions of power, it still was so much bandwidth to make the decision. And then a lot of them in their personal lives, it was even so much more difficult for them to make the decision because they were so afraid of making the wrong decision. So we will look at the historical influences in your life in particular, right? Because that has everything to do with it. Then move into what you saw. So yes, how your impactors interacted with you is one way. But then there's also, did you have a model of behavior? Were any of those impactors people who were also on the fence all the time? And you learned that behavior, because sometimes we're impacted by the way we were treated. Other times we just simply witness it and see it and go, oh, so this is what you do. This is how it's supposed to be. So that's sort of the beginning of understanding why you might be struggling with this. Another thing to look at is what do we get by not deciding? So this is really deep, and this is really profound, and this is really real. So this concept of there might be some unobvious gain that you get by staying on the fence. So think about that. What might it be? Well, and so that's actually called secondary gain. The unobvious gain you get by staying in a situation or a behavior that you say you don't like and you don't want. So we'll say being on the fence is that behavior. But what do you get to avoid? So secondary gain, the questions that you ask yourself is, what do I get to not feel, not face, and potentially not experience by staying on the fence. Well, you get to really not take responsibility, right? If I don't make a decision actively, well, life is going to go on, right? Decisions are still going to be made. Things are still going to happen. But I get absolved from responsibility because I'll say, well, they just did that. I didn't, I didn't approve that, or I didn't go for that, or that's not what I would have done. But here's the reality of not deciding. So staying on the fence, even though it may not feel like it, is also a decision, right? Deciding not to decide, even if it's because you're fearful, it's still a decision because it still sets things in motion. There's still a ramification for not deciding, and it puts you in a position of having so much less control over what is going on. So I want you to think about it this way. I'll give you the secondary gain questions in your downloadable guide, but I want you to think about it right now. Right now, what do you get to not face, not feel, or not experience by staying in that state of indecision? I bet something will come up for you. I used to see this all the time. I saw it in myself, and I saw it in my clients. When they were in a relationship, the confusion or indecision would come up, and they would say things like, I'm so torn because this person is mostly great and whatever, like when they were expressing their confusion, I looked at that as somewhere down deep they knew, and the next step I'm going to give you is going to help you access your deep knowing as to what decision is right for you to make. Somewhere down deep, though, when someone is saying they're confused, I got the feeling that they really knew, but the secondary gain of staying in that, on that fence in that relationship, was that they didn't have to confront the person. They didn't have to end the relationship. They didn't have to have a hard conversation or break someone's heart or hurt someone, which is what they didn't want to do. So that is how you will use the secondary gain questions, is to understand the hidden benefit of why you're staying on the fence, because there is one, or you wouldn't be, So moving on to the next thing. So think about it this way. I'm going to give you a little exercise in your downloadable cheat sheet where you're going to visualize you're on the fence. Bring it to mind right now. What are you on the fence about in your life? What are you not making a decision about? What are you not sure about? What are you afraid to make the wrong decision about? And I want you to visualize yourself. You're walking down a flight of stairs. You're kind of floating down a flight of stairs. And when you open the door at the bottom, when you get to the bottom, you're going to open the door and literally your answer is going to be right there. Like you're going to see the answer in your mind. So picture yourself going down, open the door. What do you see? So for some people, this may work. This is a directive way of accessing what you might already know inside. And I'll also give you some questions that you can ask yourself that sound kind of roundabout or redundant or like it doesn't make sense. A client will say to me, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm torn. And I'll say, but if you did know, what would the answer be? Just say it, And sometimes we can sort of outsmart these psychological defense mechanisms that are trying to protect us by coming at it from a different angle. So I'd be really curious to see how that actually works for you. And if you like this episode of The Terri Cole Show, do me a favor. Share it with people. Did you ring the bell thing? Did you sign up? Are you subscribed? Please do. Because I think a lot of people suffer from indecision, and maybe this can elevate joy and relieve suffering, right? Because that is my whole trip and all I want to do. So I would love to hear what you think about this. I hope you guys have an amazing week. And as always, take care of you.